Okay. Um, More on the Falcons here because I can't like walk away from this without trying to give you guys a full explanation of what is going on. And I asked Arthur Smith yesterday, and here is one thing I will agree with for people, and this is why I asked him this yesterday. At some point in time, we have to figure out a way to get more production from Kyle Pitts and Drake London. I think that's fair. I don't think anybody saying that is unfair, but understand why it is difficult. It's difficult for the reasons that I asked you. However, if you're only going to throw 13 times a game, okay, you've got to maximize every one of those attempts and put the ball in your best player's hands. And I asked Arthur Smith yesterday, and the exact phrasing of my question was very simple because I know he doesn't like the targets question, right? Like so I sort of disarmed him a little bit, and I said to him, "You've admitted to us that you're targeting Kyle, so I'm not objecting to that, but you're targeting him, and we're still not seeing the connection happen, and we're not seeing the production. So how do you make it easier? How do you make it simpler for Marcus to get the ball to Kyle and get more production out of him?" And Arthur Smith said it very succinctly: "We have to do it better." I think he's aware of this, guys. I mean, if anybody thinks it's purposeful, if anybody thinks that there is intent that he is doing or not getting him the ball on purpose, I mean, it's a joke. Like that's not literally the case at all. There is no reason to believe for 1 second that Arthur Smith is purposely avoiding getting his best playmaker the football. Now, again, if you guys would love to have a conversation about what we did with Kyle by taking him fourth overall and everything else, right? And maximizing that and all that. Yeah, okay, I'm game with you. I understand, but that's a different conversation than what is going on the field yesterday and in the big picture this year. Because remember, in the big picture, if I told all of you on September 1st, the Falcons would be 3-4 after their first 7 games, there's not a single person who would have said, "I don't want that." Everybody would have taken it. We all would have taken it. So don't kid yourself about how bad things are because they're not that bad. This team is a lot better than what any of us gave it credit for. They're clearly a lot better coached than what any of us thought. And most of all, they are a step ahead of what you would expect for a team that, for all intents and purposes, was in a darn rebuild. Right? I mean, it's one of those things where you have to understand that what they've accomplished to this point is so much better than you could have hoped for. But yes, do they need to get the ball in Kyle Pitt's hands more? Sure. I don't necessarily know. I mean, Arthur Smith is not going to tell us directly how he's going to do that. He's not going to talk about scheme. So asking those questions is pointless. You're not going to get an answer. Um, and trying to figure out the way that it's going to happen. I mean, I would suggest again, the one thing he did say, he's got to get him in a rhythm early. Get the ball to him early. Figure out ways to scheme him open early. And maybe Marcus needs to be told to just flat out force him the damn ball. Let him go make a play. Will that be a net negative? It could. I think you roll the dice with it. I think it's really tough. So there's that. I want to remind you guys, thanks for making Locked On Falcons your first listen every day. Make sure you check out NFL Key Predictions every Friday on Locked On NFL. Locked On's local experts give you the inside scoop on the 5 biggest games of the NFL weekend, including Sunday and Monday Night Football, plus betting advice from the field's leading experts, BetOnline. Follow Key Predictions every Friday and Locked On NFL, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. The other thing that happened in this game on Sunday that we're not talking enough about, okay, because we're so focused on the damn offense and it gets really irritating. But the problem on Sunday more than anything is that you got raped. I mean, that's a problem. And nobody's talking about the fact that they gave up 21 points before you could sneeze. That's a problem. Now, Arthur Smith will tell you stats be damned, and to a certain extent, he's right when you're playing good situational football, but it's only a matter of time, and I said this prior to the game, it was only a matter of time before the Falcons giving up all those yards turned into points. Because you can only bend for so long before you break. You want to be a middle of the road defense and give up yards and a lot of points, fine. When you're giving up the second most or third most yards in the NFL per game through 7 weeks of football, that's problematic. Folks, there's a reason why odds makers use yards per game and yards per play as one of the major metrics in deciding how good a team is and what a spread will be for a reason. Because those numbers hold true game in and game out. I mean, that's what this boils down to. And if this defense wants to have any measure of success and help this team get better, then they can't continue to give up 400 yards per game. They can't continue to get gashed through the air for a league worst 306 yards. Oh, it was just inflated after the Bengals game. No, it was bad before that, guys. It was bad before that. It's just a fact of the matter. I mean, PJ Walker went out there last week and beat the hell out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and their defense is a lot better than the Falcons. Statistically, this is the worst offense in the NFL the Panthers have. They may have a field day against the Falcons defense. We'll see how it shakes out. But something has to change defensively for this team. If it doesn't, guess what? They're going to lose more. They're going to lose more. It's just the way it is. I'm not sure that you can really parse it any other way. Because if you try to look at it differently, guess what? It's not going to work. They have to give up less yards than what they're doing right now at this pace. Dean Pease has to tighten that up. All right, we're going to hand out some shovels of wisdom, and coming up, we'll get to news I sort of predicted yesterday. But first, a word from our friends at Built Bar. You guys tried Built Bar Puffs yet? Oh, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? They get a brand new flavor that is delicious, indulgent. It is awesome cookie dough chunk. Puffs are light and chewy. They have great texture, and they've got real cookie dough chunks in them, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. And they're the perfect snack. You want something late at night, or you want something where in between meals, it's not going to be too heavy. Cookie dough chunk puffs, only 160 calories, got a whopping 15 grams of protein. So you know they're healthy for you. Got a box in the house, take one with me on the go wherever I need as a light snack. They are perfect. Go to Built.com. You can snag a box for yourself, for the family, bring them to work, leave them in the office. The perfect snack anytime, guys. Go to Built.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your order. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15 at Built.com. Built Bars, they are delicious.